As flagship smartphones become increasingly more powerful, a new opportunity has arisen for gaming companies to get in on the action. Enter the Razer Phone 2, the 2018 sequel to Razer's first ever smartphone. A triumphant beast of a flagship that puts multimedia and gaming at the forefront of its to-do list, featuring a pretty cool, albeit unnecessary RGB Razer three-headed snake on the back, some very loud front-firing stereo speakers, and a 120Hz LCD panel, all while adding wireless charging and an IP67 dust and water resistance rating. So what's the scoop on Razer's second entry into the newly formed gaming phone market? I'm Dave with TechDove, and that's what we're here to find out. Mobile gaming has become a huge market, not just for app developers, but for smartphone manufacturers alike, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. Now, what do gamers want? Horsepower. More on that in a bit. A high resolution and also a high refresh rate display is usually a good place to start, and Razer absolutely nails it here. Casting aside the modern smartphone trends of tall 18:9 aspect ratio displays and questionable design choices with notches or hole punches. Instead opting for a 16:9 5.7-inch IGZO IPS LCD display with a crazy refresh rate of 120Hz. Or 120 frames per second, for those of you unfamiliar with the terminology here. Basically means the phone refreshes the content on its display 120 times per second. For example, the iPhone XS and Note 9 have 60Hz OLED panels. As far as screen resolution goes, it comes in at a very respectable 2560 by 1440 resolution, giving it a crisp pixel density of 513 ppi, or pixels per inch. The Razer Phone 2, despite not having the deep blacks and ultra-vivid punchy colors of an OLED, is one of the best displays I've ever used on a smartphone. Scrolling through pages, browsing the web, and opening and closing apps or multitasking, it's almost unreal looking. This is one super responsive display. I'd show you guys in detail, however, I'm only recording in 60 FPS, so you'd never see it. Just take my word for it on this one. Outdoor visibility has been decent. Hasn't been especially difficult to see outdoors, save for the time I tried to watch a dark movie trailer on it. It reaches a peak brightness of 580 nits, quite the boost over last year's Razer phone. The Razer Phone 2, however, does follow one modern smartphone trend, shedding the metal unibody of last year's Razer phone for a Gorilla Glass 5 front and back, meaning squarely at a boxy aluminum frame. The benefits of a glass back are that you can enable wireless charging, even if you put it at the very bottom of the phone to sell an RGB wireless charging cradle. The other benefit is in a stronger signal from Wi-Fi and LTE. It's quite a large, heavy, but very nice feeling phone, despite having the boxy ergonomics of something you'd build a house out of. It really is one of my favorite built phones in recent memory. On the right side sits the power button that doubles as Razer's fingerprint scanner, which is very fast to unlock the device. On the left side of the phone is the SIM card tray, as well as the centered volume buttons, which is a thoughtful addition for mobile gaming, as it makes it far more difficult to accidentally press them during intense games. On top is another microphone for noise cancellation. On bottom is the USB Type-C charging port, and nothing else. I guess Razer decided gamers don't wish to utilize wired headphones or something. It's almost as if Razer is pulling an Apple in the hopes to courageously sell their Hammerhead USB-C headphones. But I digress. No time for speculation, it's time to keep it moving. It's hard not to look at the front of the Razer Phone 2 and not think of HTC's legendary boom sound front-firing stereo speakers, which Razer has taken to a whole nother level. Last year, Razer introduced their first iteration and blew everyone away with the massive sound coming from their quote-unquote gaming phone. Seriously, these are the loudest speakers I've ever heard on a smartphone. It's comparable to small Bluetooth speaker in volume. However, it's much more crisp with plenty of clarity in the high end, a good serving of low end, and no tinny or crackling sounds to be heard. Both the top and bottom front firing speakers are THX and Dolby Atmos certified and sound amazing. You get a chance to hear them do it. Hearing is believing. Voice calls over AT&T's network sounded loud and clear, with callers on the other end even complimenting how nice it sounded. On the other side of the audio coin, we have Razer's rather odd decision not to put a headphone jack on a gaming-focused phone. However, the USB-C to 3.5mm dongle they include does support 24-bit playback from its onboard DAC. I found it to be much louder than the dongle included with the iPhone XS Max. Oh wait, there isn't one. Jokes aside, the dongle included with the Razer phone is probably the best dongle I've used next to the Essential phone. Even better than Samsung's built-in headphone jack in terms of audio volume and quality. So not all is bad in Dongleville. With a combination of a 120Hz LCD display, the octa-core Snapdragon 845 and 8GB of RAM is standard, paired with the 64GB of onboard storage, as well as a Nova Launcher Prime out of the box, which is a very close to stock-looking Android launcher. The Razer Phone 2 is a monster phone. Not only does it crush multitasking, but games run amazingly, even with the screen resolution and refresh rate pumped all the way up. Even if you're not buying this phone for mobile gaming, you'd be more than satisfied with its daily performance, RAM management, and responsiveness. Though I did notice the device seems to heat up quite a fair bit during intense gaming or multitasking. It's really nothing to be concerned with, just an observation. And I'm sure there are improvements to be made in software to the already amazing performance this device delivers. The Razer Phone 2 is able to deliver speeds of 130 megabits per second up and 97 megabits per second down over AT&T's network. A respectable figure. Endurance is the name of the game while you're under fire or about to turn the final lap while gaming. The Razer Phone 2's massive 4000 mAh battery holds strong. Even with the display cranked up to 120Hz with the RGB Razer logo around back turned on to its highest setting, I was still able to get a consistent 5.5 hours of screen on time, with a mixture of usage between social media, watching YouTube or Netflix, messaging, and playing games. With the logo disabled, I was able to pull in 6.5 hours of screen on time with mixed usage. However, these results were far less frequent. This is likely to do with far less bloated Android skin and Razer software optimization. I was able to finish the day with about 17% left in the tank, which is no worry considering Razer ships the phone with a Qualcomm Quick Charge 4 Plus charger, which is able to fill the huge 4000 mAh battery from 0 to full in under 90 minutes. It's quite impressive. Last year, many were quite critical of the original Razer phone cameras, and for good reason. They weren't even what I'd consider average. For the price, they were just bad. This year, Razer opted for some higher quality sensors and tweaked their ISP, or image signal processor, for better results. The rear of the phone houses dual 12 megapixel sensors, one being a standard lens with an aperture of f1.8, with dual pixel autofocus and optical image stabilization, and a secondary telephoto sensor with an aperture of f2.6 for 2x optical zoom, as well as portrait mode-esque photos. Capable of recording 4K at either 30 or 60 FPS, as well as 1080 at 30, 60, or 120 FPS slow-mo, with stereo audio recording built in. Up front, nestled in the speaker grill, is an 8 megapixel selfie camera and an f2.0 aperture, capable of recording 1080p 30 or 60 FPS. The shots from it are so-so. The pictures appear soft and a bit overexposed. Nothing to write home about. The shots that come out of this camera are a bit disappointing for an $800 flagship smartphone, with excessive noise and low light shots and very dull colors. However, I have seen others get some pretty great looking results from the Razer Phone 2's cameras after a software update I have yet to receive on my unit. But I'm just calling it how I see it, and I can't speculate on results I have not experienced firsthand. But apparently after some patches it becomes a very solid shooter. Razer is a world-renowned gaming laptop manufacturer, and after their acquisition of Nextbit a few years back, they turned their attention to the smartphone market, surprising everyone with the quality and attention to detail for their first ever phone. Everything about these first two iterations have screamed Razer, and for some it's a very good thing, as Razer has a knack for making laptops comparable to Apple's MacBook line in build quality. Their second attempt at a gaming flagship smartphone shows they are serious about refining an already great formula. Adding water resistance and wireless charging was a nice step forward, though I'd have preferred an all-metal build for the durability aspect. So where's that leave us with the Razer Phone 2? Overall as a phone it's great, with an amazing LCD panel, superb stereo front-firing speakers, and some of the best performance I've ever experienced on an Android phone, plus the welcome addition of some of the fastest charging speeds around. The only area this phone is lacking is in the camera department. This would be a near-perfect solution for those out there not hip to the current trends of stretched aspect ratios and notched displays. With that being said, I would still recommend this phone to anyone looking for one of the best multimedia experiences around today, even if it does fall flat in the camera department and doesn't have an OLED display. I must say it makes me excited to see what the future has in store for Razer and their quest to make a name for themselves in a market that's only heating up. I'm Dave with TechDove. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and get subscribed to see my iPad Pro 11-inch review coming up next. And come hang out with me in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.